You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for Breaking Bad. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Breaking Bad news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for Breaking Bad.
All right, well, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz of Breaking Bad Season 4, Episode 10, entitled Salud. I'm your host, John Comerford. I'm joined in the studio by Keven Undergaro and Big Ben Bottomley. Okay, first off, right off the bat, guys, how badass is Gus? I mean,
we knew he was badass.
Yeah.
But what Ben and I were talking about is how much you were saying you were rooting for him and Mike as well.
Yeah.
And even though earlier on, and I think I said this last week, you know,
Right.
I was totally against him. But when I saw him lose, who I believe was his lover,
Yeah.
I had a lot of compassion for him. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
no, F that. No, we got to, we got to get behind Mike and Gus now. Still, ultimately, I'm behind Walt, but
Of course.
yeah. I mean,
But haven't they done a great job of giving you somebody else to hate worse?
yes.
than Gus and Mike?
I don't know. I mean, how many?
Want to find out what the
More-
AfterBuzz is about?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yes, please.
Yes,
tell
as
us
a
what our
drama
AfterBuzz
queen.
is about. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Vince Gilligan.
It's just
man.
a masterful job
Yep.
of giving us somebody else to throw all our hatred and anger at,
Yep.
so that we're rooting for the bad guy.
And I think maybe setting it up so Gus and Mike will maybe be around for the next season. I don't know.
Could be, yeah. I mean, that's what's great. The one thing for this episode that I was really noticing is how far down. I mean, I thought they took Walt down really far last week by losing in that fight.
He had
But
one
then-
more level to go.
Yeah, exactly. I just went, oh my God. And how low are they going to take this guy before they bring him back up? Because he just seemed so humiliated. I mean,
The
so
underwear,
beaten.
the tighty whities.
Yeah, and
I
the
mean,
garage door coming up and having the just that whole scene with his son. I mean, I don't even have a son, and I felt horrible.
awful.
We think he's hit rock bottom now,
Yeah,
but
and it just gets worse.
next week it might even get worse.
Yeah, just because I really thought,
I thought that was it.
I
And-
did.
And then now we see in the preview, which I don't want to get into the previews yet, but, just seeing the shot. I mean, Ben, you might be right. There's a shot of him on the ground.
exactly, like he's
So
going to get beat down
maybe
again.
he hits another level. Although and we'll get into predictions. I think this was it. I think this is the lowest for now that he went. And I think can we just talk?
Just jump
Walt?
right in, yeah, because this is where I wanted to go. And you go ahead with.
Well, I was going to say, I want to just say how lucky all the Emmy recipients, the males, are this year to not have Bryan Cranston
the
competing.
first person they should thank at their acceptance speeches, they should thank Bryan Cranston.
Because this guy's performance, forget it. Who the hell's touching this guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
And arguably better than what he's been ever in the history of the show.
And
My God, the crying scene with the son, just incredible acting.
Right.
But I did notice that I feel the next day getting up, he's in the bathrobe, and I feel he's
see him,
recommitted. Yes, I feel like Eisenberg is coming out.
He's coming back. Yeah, I mean, he's still, obviously nursing his wounds, but you could see the transformation of that away from the pathetic to I can't let my son see me like this. Now he has a whole new reason. That story he gave about his father and that experience, it's 6 years old, and that's now a driving force. He does not want his son to see him the way he saw his own father. That frail.
So you're right. So now, So now he's got more.
Exactly. Now he's got a whole new drive.
And it's in just the fan. And John, I geek out on the writing, and I geek out on the subtext of dialogue. I remember as a kid going into the hospital.
The chemicals.
Yes, the Lysol and bleach.
Yeah.
Coating my lungs, and I took that as Walt was poisoned even as a child. Not poison with his cancer per se, in the literal sense.
Metaphorically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that he, from seeing the father like that,
Right.
he was poisoned with a bitterness,
Yeah.
with a feeling
That
of
taste,
shortcoming.
yeah, that-
you
yeah.
know, and again, just the writing
and
is,
how strange that he would become a chemist, and that was such an important and such an impactful time in his life. He goes and it really was the chemical smell. I just thought, what the irony of that.
Yeah.
To say that was so impactful to him.
Is there any irony in the fact that, and again, Walt Jr., the best acting, he's a great actor, the kid, but this was just incredible.
Yeah.
Is there any irony in the fact that he's talking about the father being so crippled, and he's describing in detail what happens with this disease?
Yeah.
Is there something significant or ironic with the son's condition?
Well, it was because I thought they were going to make some sort of connection to it, and I think it's just there rather than because there's no direct correlation between Huntington's and whatever his son has. Whatever,
No, but you think symbolically speaking,
is what his son has.
right? But you think, Ben, it's no coincidence,
Right.
In terms of the writing, is it is it all tied together?
I would think so. I mean, that's what it doesn't seem like they put anything is haphazard. It seems like these things are thought out.
Like maybe the father was like this, and my son's like this, just making him more angry that that he's going to rage against weakness,
That's
or being
kinda
a
what
victim.
I thought there was definitely intentional that his father was, had this condition, and that his son does too. Knowing the show, I don't think they just kind of gave them both those
randomly put that in there.
Yeah, I think.
I think you're right. I think this, as we know, best written show on television, best written show in the history of television. I agree. I don't think there's any mistakes, but I mean, there's any coincidence in that. But talking about Walt Jr., like how amazing that I was just. I wasn't blown away about how decent he was and how mature, because you could say he's a really sweet kid.
Yeah.
What really blew me away was like, that's the most real you've been in a year.
Yeah, that part
how
I thought,
astute.
and and I'm going, oh man, not what Walt wanted to hear.
Nope.
And I go, what? Oh, that was a great line because of that. You would thought, it just now Walt having a whole new drive, and then there's that conflict about, wait a minute, this connection that I'm trying to have with my kid, which the whole thing, the whole Jesse thing, where he's at the end of that. When he is in the bed and he's going back to sleep, and he says whatever he says, and he says Jesse. He's talking to his son Walt Jr. and he calls him Jesse.
That's good.
Oh
Jesse.
yeah,
yeah. And so that whole father-son thing that
which
he's
we've
got
been
going
talking
with
about.
Jesse. Oh my God!
And
the relationship he is trying to have with his own son gets worked out with Jesse, but then he misses out on the whole relationship he could be having with his own son.
with his son.
Because of all this craziness. And the tragedy of that, he didn't have a father growing up. Now his own son is losing the father.
Is really
growing
not
up.
having a
He's
father.
not having a father now too.
No.
So he's passing it along.
And the only person he's being a father to is Jesse,
It's
and he's
Jesse.
not doing a good job
No,
at
he's
that
doing
either.
a horrible job at it. But then again, he had no role model. His dad died at 6.
Yeah, and so we
So who
learned
was gonna-
more.
Exactly.
And it was interesting, guys. He talked about his mom or grandma to Junior as if she's still alive.
Yeah.
So I would guess that we're going
Yeah.
to see her maybe next season, if
As
not
she
this
can
season.
be. I
And
think is
just-
the way he said it.
And just to tease this after the commercial break, later on our show, we will talk about our
Yes.
meeting with Aaron Paul.
Yes, absolutely.
We had him in at the Emmy Gift Suites.
Yeah.
We did a special edition Breaking Bad show,
Right.
just kind of recapping things. And he sat in, which was just incredible.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about
for that.
him and what we talked about off camera and some of the plans we want to do with our friends from Breaking Bad in the future, or at least the goal for the finale.
Here's the other thing I wanted to talk about with Walt.
Sure.
I love that they take their time, meaning they remember the Hank soliloquy he had a couple of episodes ago when he was talking to his guys, laying out the case for Gus and how he's involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jesse had that whole another page-long dialogue, not dialogue, but his page-long thing when he was at the AA meeting. And he went into his whole thing.
Right.
Now Walt has his with his backstory. They give these great 3-4 minute scenes where
Incredible.
it's just one guy talking. And that's crazy in TV.
I'm going to jump away for a second. I'm sorry. Woody Allen always said what frustrated him about American audiences is that they only could sit through 90 minutes. And wasn't you told me, John, he always had to have his comedies 90 on the nose, not even a second longer.
Yeah, he would do that.
And it was one of the things he talks about that frustrated him, whereas European audiences will hang,
they'll sit
hang
there.
in for 2 hours, 3 hours. So I've said this last week. I feel as though we're watching a 13-hour feature film, and it's spectacular.
And isn't it amazing? Because in those scenes where it's one guy talking, I'm never wanting it to move on. I'm completely entertained, enthralled, compelled. I'm just
I love
going.
it. Well, you know,
I don't even want the story to stop.
No.
Tell me more.
It really kind of separates this show. One of the many things that separates this show from
others.
the rest of TV.
And again, another guy who gets a lot of crap thrown at him, but Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
But he says, as a filmmaker and an actor, he said, why can't I do 5 or 4 or 6 movies? He's like, because that's 12 hours to develop. Take my character on a journey.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, the today's TV shows, especially the ones today, he said, you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons to develop, develop a character. So
and normally what we see in TV, or what we have been in the past, is that characters don't change. I mean, the reason why people keep tuning in is because of the same character over and over and over, and you just get to see them go through these.
But now, since Sopranos, we're seeing
we're throwing it out the
these
window.
docu-journeys.
Yeah, we want these characters to change. We want them to evolve. We want to see that journey. We're interested in investing our time to see that happen. Whereas the 90-minute thing that Woody Allen's talking about seems to be where did that go? I mean, we do have, as a society, have a shorter attention span.
No,
but
that's
not
what I
with
mean.
this.
That's the irony. Is that we have the shortest attention span ever. And on the one hand, we have. I had this discussion with Kathy Lee, our friend Kathy Lee Gifford.
Absolutely.
John and I worked with her, and we've all become good friends. And she was talking because Kathy loves acting. That's her first love. That's what she studied.
By the way, did a fabulous job for us in the movie.
In Serial Buddies, yes, thank you.
We'll talk about too.
And we were having this discussion about how there's a lot of reality. Ironically, we were with Kris Jenner. We had a dinner with not to really get into a crazy name dropping, but it was like Regis and Kathy celebrated birthday together, and Kris Jenner was there, and our own Maria Menounos was there as well, and I was the usual fly on the wall. But there's Kathy being Kathy and boldly enough saying it's reality, that's all crap, and there's Kris who's sitting there and just kind of laughing it off. But we got into this discussion of, isn't it crazy that we have all this reality insanity, and yet conversely have also the most amazing
But that may be the reason
narrative
why
stuff.
It's working, because those of us who like reality are still hungry for storytelling. We've never been able to get away with that, and not that reality doesn't have storytelling, but we're looking for a respite from the quick thing and nothing happen. We're looking for something more than just the quick thing. I think that's what's happening.
It's evident.
Yeah,
because that's what's happening. It's unreal in our society of the lowest attention span. And the fact that we want to sit through 12, 13, 14 hours of this
and can't get enough of it.
No,
it keeps us coming back for more every week.
I mean, and I literally, as I'm watching those scenes, I'm amazed at how after the scene I went, wow, how long was that? I don't know when I'm watching it, but then it reminds me, we sat there and pretty much uncut. We didn't even have a cut to another, another shot.
I think they kind of kicked that off in season 3 after Hank, beat up Jesse. He was kind of sitting in his bed describing to Walt exactly what he was going to do for about 5 minutes, and then I've been noticing this happening more and more.
Letting those things
such patience as a director
and courage, because usually you would be cut. No, it's too long. It's too long. Move.
Nope.
We got to move, and they are trusting that the audience is with them. The story is compelling enough. I don't need to do anything but tell it. So that's what's amazing to me. I find that.
I think it's tons of reds. The red plane.
Yeah. Just while we started off, the first thing we saw after as we open up on the show is the phone ringing, the counter in the empty kitchen, and just the one white tissue and with the spots of red on it from the bloody nose.
I'm noticing more not mutation, but more muted colors. You know, but. We're seeing reds. We're seeing
the whole factory at the end was red.
Was all red.
Red.
Obviously the sun had the orange shirt on, which there had to be a tie back to the orange car, you know.
Something. And it was interesting. Jesse was wearing orange in when he was in the factory in Mexico. He had he was the only guy wearing the orange jumpsuit. Everybody else had yellows. Everybody else was
and the factory had yellow lights.
Exactly. So there's just the tie-in between the two sons wearing orange.
And lots of, and this is the first time I noticed this, guys. Lots of tans.
Yeah.
Walt's bed, tan sheets in red.
Yeah, his whole house was monochromatic. It was almost void of color except for the splotches of red.
And then Better Call Saul had a tan shirt underneath with a it was red and purple. Like I think it was a purple tie and it was purple and red. I don't know the specifics. It's the first. I guess maybe that tan is a muted form of the yellows we were seeing with Gus initially, and when we get hopefully when we catch up to Mr. Gilligan and his posse,
that's right.
I want to find out exactly what it means.
I want to know what the heck they're doing and why.
Just incredible.
Right now it's all conjecture. But let's start. I wanted to talk real quick because we shied away from the Skyler and just that whole first scene with Skyler. And the phone, and she's trying to get Walt to be part of his son's birthday. We've kind of touched on the whole father-son and how he's not even there for his kid right now. And that whole, as soon as she says, I forgot the paper, could you go get it for me? I knew the car is coming up, and I'm going, oh no, it's not. It's going to be nowhere near what the Camaro was. He's going to be so disappointed. Yeah. And I just was already going, oh, I don't want to see that because, it's just going to pale by comparison and she's going to feel horrible that she couldn't, give her kid what he wants.
So why didn't she come up with something a little bit more hip? Is she just a nerd? I mean, what?
I think, she did her homework and, that's the one she felt safe with. And I think more than anything, she's really trying to run the story. I can't get you anything fancy because that puts us on the map. The whole reason why she's giving the Beneke the money is so that they don't get noticed.
Right.
So I think it has everything to do with that. She just wants to, I just don't want anybody to notice us. Yeah. Please.
That was the sole reason she got rid of the Challenger.
Exactly. Right. Not very nondescript PT Cruiser. Okay, that's kind of hip, kind of. I don't know.
I was happy with it.
It looked pretty used.
Hey,
exactly.
And a little bit of a
dent in the side.
Yeah, a little bit of a dent.
Yeah.
But perfect car for somebody who just owned a car wash.
Right, that they just inserted the dent just to let you know that it was used and it wasn't.
Would you have been happy with a car like that, young
man?
Yeah. I mean, it's especially if I hadn't previously owned a Challenger.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing.
That would have been fine.
Yeah, of course. That would have been great.
And look at the shot. He rings his buzzer and it looks like a jail cell. Look at guys, all the red iron
and all the jail.
And they're all red.
Yeah, exactly. They use that device a lot. Not the.
And we're talking about. By the way, we're watching the show in studio. You guys, it's the exterior of Walt's apartment.
And was this the best? Oh my God!
When he pulls off the sheet
and it sticks to his wounds.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
God, the metaphor there is amazing. He just can't. It's just now part of him. It just can't get rid of it. Okay. So we just watched him peel it off. Sorry about that little pause there. But what I mean is the shots that they use, they shot a lot where they sit inside the room and they just show the opening of somebody either leaving or coming in. And you get to narrow the focus. So all you're doing is paying attention to the one person in the tiny frame because of what's left over, because of the light and the negative space. I like the way they use it. They do it a lot. They did it like 3 times in this particular episode. When everybody's coming into the warehouse in Mexico, they close it down. You just see the opening and you just see the guys coming in. And I don't know why. It's just they use it a lot. Oh, here's another one. This is a great shot where they're
opening the garage door.
Yeah, garage door is opening. Walt comes, stumbling out in his tidy whities.
Yeah, blood all over him.
They love that shot. They used it so many times. So, and it's very effective. So anyway, we're talking about Sky, and let's go back to her with, she obviously knows that her son's not happy with the car, but that's the best she can do under the circumstances. And how about her? Go ahead.
She calls Saul to go fix the problems with the old boss and the IRS, and Saul thinks it's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. Yeah. Saul knows better. He knows. Well, he knows people's motivations. He knows what drives them and everything. So he knows.
And it is very typical of those guys. Working in the carny business.
Yeah. Instead of just getting out of trouble, starting over. No, hey, I got it.
It's right. Yeah. No.
Spin the plates again.
That's it. It's like it's just a such a reinforcement.
Right.
to continue on with their bad behavior.
Yeah, but what I because I thought for sure they were going to use. In fact, I predicted it last week that she was just going to give him the money, and say it was part of Walt's earnings from gambling, and then that would be the way he would Beneke would pay off his IRS bill, and then they'd be off scot free. But no, they cook up this other idea with the great dead aunt, or the great aunt that's been dead from Luxembourg or whatever, and he buys it. Of course, he buys it because.
I just love how Saul put together the story. Like, he had the basis for it, but as he's going along, like, really, I wasn't in the will, like, or I don't know of any aunt that would put me in the will. Oh, there was no will. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so completely false.
Yeah.
And the guy buys it because he's so desperate and he's greedy. He's just greedy. That's pretty much it. Which just about everybody's Achilles heel in this is that they're greedy in some sort. So, but of course he buys it. And what does he do? The first thing he does, he doesn't pay off his IRS.
Nope.
Just can't. Again, everybody in this just can't get out of their own way to save themselves. But now, and we thought when Sky went there, and the first thing she does is when she finds out that he leased a Mercedes and didn't pay off his IRS debt, she says, "Where is he?" And I thought you were saying, what did you say? Let's go gangster.
Oh, I said, ready for gangster, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I really wanted her to go. I wanted her to just go at him. I wanted her bad to just go at him. She went in all demure and stuff like that.
But look at what she did to an IRS agent.
That's true. It's true. But
she'll don't worry.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted her to go.
He's not going to win.
Look, you mother.
Oh, yeah.
That money came from me. And she did finally not fess up. She finally told him that money came from me. So now it's going to be interesting to see what he does with it.
And the temptation, is for me, and is to see, at some point Walt go protect his wife and just not. But I don't think they're going to go that route. I think we're going to see Skyler show that she's worthy.
Well, yeah, every chance we've had where she's had an opportunity for either Walt to step in or to take a different road. Let's face it, she was at the crossroads, literally. She was standing at the four corners flipping a coin.
Right, what should I do?
Exactly, and she went back. So
or out, Skyler.
Exactly, and put the money in. So now when she's in, I mean, it seems like every step she's doing, is showing her stepping up rather than letting anybody else take care of it, or
And we kind of left it off. It's still up in the air. We left it. She said she admits.
Yeah.
Where do you think they got the money?
Exactly.
And that's all we saw until next week.
Aunt.
I feel bad. I don't want to go backwards, but I had a question for you guys. Walt Jr. told the mother that he was sleeping over a friend's house. Is this his first lie?
Well, that's what I thought was interesting. We didn't go back on it, but this is where it starts, because what does Walt do? Don't tell your mom. And that's one thing, But then he says, he really makes him look. Not only do I want you to lie, I want you to lie for me to somebody else. I mean, there's that whole thing. It's that slow seduction. This is where it happens.
And remember,
though, little thing.
The kid did it. Already had lied on his own.
Yeah.
Successfully.
Yeah.
Is this his first step into hell?
Yeah, because this is what they've done. This is their modus operandi. Every time it's a rational thing. Okay, it's just a little thing, and then they do it, and then it's so much easier to do the next one, and then the next one, and pretty soon you're so far down the line. You went, what the hell happened? How did I get here? In fact, Walt even says that this is all my fault. I mean, he was not only saying that to his kid in that's his son in that scene. He was saying it to himself. This is all my fault. I did this. I'm sorry. And I think at that moment he realized, I put myself here. Where everywhere else he'd been rationalizing and trying to come up with, I had to do this, I had to do that. I think he was finally seeing and acknowledging to himself consciously, at least at some point, that I've done this. I've done this. I've put us here. It's because of me. Whereas it was because I had cancer, I had to take care. Remember, it was I had to take care of my family. That was his motivation before. And there were plenty of ways you could have done that, but no, you chose this road.
Right.
So, and this was his first time he actually admitted it. Now, granted, he was kind of not completely conscious because he was on some painkillers and some booze.
Right.
But that was the first time he actually said it. Every other time he'd rationalized it.
Do you think, I'm reaching, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. Do you think that in his perverted mind, when he says it's my fault, does he mean going back even further in life where he made decisions with his business and his, the way he kind of burned bridges or whatever, or kind of got screwed out of his deal? And I mean, did he mean that, or was he really being honest, saying it's me for doing all this crap, selling meth and getting us all in trouble?
Well, I would like to think that the better part of him was thinking the whole thing. I let it all go this way. It started when I didn't stand up for myself way back when, and I went down this road, and then because let's face it, as he was going down the road where he was feeling less than, at any moment he could have chosen something else. And whether or not it would have worked out for him, that's a different matter. But he chose not to. He chose to stay, continue the path that was leading him down that quiet desperation. That's what he'd been living. That's the life he'd been living. And that's the thing that I think it was all stemming back. I think the whole thing he was kind of admitting to himself. That's what I think.
Amazing. And should we move on to Jesse?
Let's do that.
And,
and just one more time.
Mike,
When he said, "That's good, Jesse," and he said it to Walter Jr.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, wasn't that? I mean, first of all, I wasn't exactly sure how Walter Jr. took that.
He was sad.
Definitely sad, but I was wondering if he was going to put anything together.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking.
Do you think he was?
I don't think he will. He obviously didn't hear, but I think that will come back.
Yeah,
that will come back. Thanks, Jesse. That whole thing or whatever. That's good, Jesse. Whatever the line was, but yeah, that was just that hurt. And I thought for sure the kid would have been gone. But hey, good for him. He stayed. That was pretty. I mean, that was pretty good. Right. That was just.
and fixed his glasses. And,
the whole thing he did.
So, is it helping the dad to see better? Like, is there any symbolism behind that?
Well, you would hope
I know
so.
it's just enabling, but
we would want that.
Or is it just to him to see clearer, to be more of an ass kicker, and not clearer like?
Well, it doesn't seem like Walter Jr. wants him to be an ass kicker. He likes the real Walter.
I want my real. He's the most real you've been.
Because there's a way to have that authentic power without being the ass kicker.
Right.
And I think obviously that it seems to me that that's what Junior wants. Yeah. He liked that guy who's authentic with him, not the guy that's putting on.
Well, I think, but I think seeing the kid in the past get so excited about things, like he got excited about the gambling. I think if the father were honest about the meth thing, he'd be excited. I think he's just been dishonest.
Because he thought it was cool that he was gambling.
Right.
He thought that was cool.
So I think he's just had such a front. Period. Which is why I think the kid at some point is going to get sucked into this.
Yeah, well, he's already lying for him. I mean, he said, lie about the gambling.
It's our first step.
Exactly. All right, so
moving on to the big three: Jesse, Mike, and Gus, heading down to the scene of the crime.
God, how bad! Now Jesse, man, I'm telling you, he surprises me every week now.
Yeah. I mean, he surprised Gus and
you
even Mike.
could tell they were impressed.
Oh yeah, that was a great little cutaways to them in their face and stuff. And Mike is like, good job.
When
he just tails off the chemist. I mean,
I was cheering.
Just eviscerates him.
Yeah, and your boss, and my God, how many times have I dealt with middle of the road pukes in this effing business that we're in show business.
And I wouldn't be here if you could do your job.
And to say, and why don't we tell your boss, why your boss, how many times I've had to say that in so many words. Like, to all the little effing peons and middle management types. Like, really? Well, your boss
brought me down here.
So,
that was amazing. And the balls that guy had to even start in on him. He goes, really? I mean, why? But that's what everybody does.
But they bully. Right?
Somebody else gets called in because you can't do your job, and the first thing you do is try to attack him.
Oh, you judge him. You think he's this. You're insecure. You're losing your ground.
You don't look right. You don't have the right.
And as we know in this business, John, this is always what they do. John and I's first job on writing for a Disney show. I walked in, and that was the first thing. Just I was the new guy, attacked by everybody.
And I was not ready for this. This is the first room I'd been in, so all of a sudden there was this feeding frenzy
on me. But that's why John and I became friends, because he didn't buy into it. But the average schlub, that's what they do. They attack, and it's just nature. But I love how Jesse just rose to the occasion. Was like, you know what, bitch.
Exactly.
And step up and clean this place up. And they were like, it was just great to see. They were so proud of him.
And you can really see how he's been tested by fire, and how it's now being he's becoming part of who he is. Whether before, when he would do it way back in the early seasons, it was all a front. It was all just it was just
He might be the only one that's actually, well, I think Skyler too. The good is coming. I mean, they're developing skills,
right? Yeah,
positive. I mean, I think he's better now.
Yeah.
I know he's in a tough situation,
right?
But for what he was, this slacker punk who was going nowhere, you know,
exactly. That's my point. It was all just hot air.
And the same with Skyler as well. I mean, even though obviously she's in a scary place, she's proving to even herself that, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. She surprised herself.
Yeah, I'm not some bim.
Yeah,
Like
it's
just
amazing what we can do when we have no options. And we shove ourselves in a corner. We don't have any back doors to go through.
Yeah.
So okay. So he stands up to the chemist and just basically reads him the right. I puts him in his place, which is great. And then when the next time we come to them, he's making the meth, and I turned to both of you, I think, because they were testing it, and they were finding out what percentage of how pure it was, and Walt's really was 99. 99%.
think it was. I mean, I remember.
I love having Ben. Ben's so astute. I give you so much credit.
Yeah.
I think in Box Cutter, I remember Gail telling Gus that he came up with 96%.
Yeah,
and
did
he
he?
was proud of that figure, but Walt's was 99.
Because that's what I was wondering. Because I remember the 96.
Yeah, and he was like, if that 3% doesn't sound like a lot, but
it is.
It is a lot.
But I'm glad Walt's still Top Gun.
No, yeah, I am too. I really didn't want Jesse to be Top Gun, but here's what I thought was interesting. I remember the 96 number, and he beat the 96 number.
Yeah.
Jesse beat Gail.
He beat Gail.
Yes.
He beat the
in terms of his purity.
yeah.
Impressive.
Slacker
And he's not a
junkie
chemist.
beat the
He doesn't have the letters
chemist.
after his name and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Walt admitted, remember, a couple of seasons ago, no, you are good.
Yeah.
And he always knew he's a good student. He just was a slacker.
Exactly. He had no direction. And again, you look at his and the reason why. I mean, here's what I thought was interesting. We were talking about Walt. Now, he didn't. We just learned that he didn't have a father after the age of 6. We know that Jesse's family kind of just disowned him, just kind of let him, just got rid of him. Basically, he had no direction and no support, no family, all that kind of stuff. Left on his own. And Walter kind of stepped in as a father figure. And what could he have achieved with that kind of support and direction? Interesting.
Right.
So the two of them both had that same thing going on. And they both, I imagine, let's look at it even farther. Jesse was Walter not doing the right thing, just like he didn't get those jobs, getting a high-paying job in some corporate or whatever.
Same thing.
Exactly. It's the same thing if you look at it in that way. Anyway, interesting there. So after we go, we see that he gets 96.2% on his purity, which is very impressive.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what happens just when he thinks, oh, good, great, we all go home now, and they go, okay, great.
First of many.
Yeah, first of many. You're staying in Mexico.
Yeah, the cartel owns you now.
The cartel owns you now. Thank you for the line. And the look on his face was, yeah, that was great. I didn't see that come. Of course, I had seen all the.
And I thought, if you guys thought, I thought that Gus was like setting him up and leaving him there.
I kind of thought that too. I looked at him and it looked like Gus had come to an agreement to give them Jesse.
Exactly.
But
until we found out from Mike, says, kid, either we're
all going home or
nobody's going home.
And once he said that, I was just waiting for it all to go down.
Interesting. And then, but remember, let's go back to so they get the 96.2, and then they show. No, this is I beg your pardon. After he tells off the chemist, they show the cutaway to Mike, and he's looking, yeah, way to go, kid. And they show the cutaway to Gus, and I remember the look in Gus's face, the little smile he had, and I was thinking, he was thinking to himself, I really did see something in you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. Maybe Gus wasn't just manipulating. Maybe he really did see something. Maybe he is trying to coax that out of him. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure Mike's been filling him in about he just continues to kind of rise to the occasion. His instincts are good.
Yeah, because he did have good instincts.
Yeah,
I think Gus was legit in saying that he sees something in him because you could tell his face went from his usual
stoic,
his normal,
his
to
not
even that
smile.
big.
Exactly, so subtle. He was just really, really subtle.
Is
Nicely done.
Is it hard for you guys to trust Gus based on what he did to Victor? Because Victor was really a good worker.
I don't trust him for a second. I think
so. That's why it's like it's a little hard for me to drink the Kool-Aid and think he's going to kind of like stand by Mike and stand by
because every move
Jesse.
he's made is directly helped him. He hasn't really done anything for anybody
and just the fact
benefit.
that he killed Victor, who I thought was a great worker and a great earner for him, and that he just I get that he was made. Yeah, he was made by the cops. They saw his picture.
He had to go.
But I thought he would send him away or something like that.
You would think something like that, but no. But because what he did was not only did he kill him, he used it.
He spun it and used it as an effective tool to freak people out.
Right.
So it's like when one of the things I thought of last week or the week before when Walt said, you're loyal to the wrong guy, I wanted to say, really? Because you just saw your guy just kill Victor in cold blood, who was one of his best workers. So really,
why would I be loyal to that?
Right? Because the bell's gonna toll for me.
As soon as I make some tiny mistake, I mean, who knows?
I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, and it wouldn't be good writing. I don't think, if this is true. At the same time, I think my sense is he is going to be loyal to Jesse.
I don't know. I think that's what's great about the writing is I can't tell. They do such a good, and he holds his cards so close that you can't tell. I mean, just that look on his face when Jesse stepped up, you went, "Whoa!" Did he always see that, or did he just saw it then and went, "Hey, wow, nice job, kid." I mean, I don't know.
I think he saw potential, but I mean, for him to step up like that, he was like, "Wow."
But okay, so he saw potential. How amazing is that? Because what potential did he see? Where? When?
Well, I think hearing the fact that the first time they tested him when they had the fake guys come, his instinct was to jump in the car, go after him, and come back when he didn't have to. Then I think probably hearing about how he handled the meth heads, where Mike was just going to sit there.
No, I knew all that, but he said that before. I mean, he started testing.
I think it was no. It was after at least the fake hold up.
After.
No, I know that, but what I mean is he had to see something in him before he started testing him.
Oh well,
Why would he bother?
I'm going by. He said something. I'm going by. He at first just used him to divide and conquer.
Right, exactly.
I think it was all set up, but then when they saw how he was reacting, I think he was like, "Wait a second. Oh, maybe I was wrong."
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. Did he really see something all along?
I don't think so. No,
probably not.
It was divide and conquer.
Walt,
I think,
had a line: "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer." I think that's what he was doing until he realized maybe I can use this
to my advantage. Yeah. Because he clearly every advantage he can get out of somebody he uses.
He's amazing, and I'm sensitive to it because I believe his lover to be killed and his partner to be killed in cold blood.
Right.
It just made him so hard.
Oh yeah.
It just hardened him.
I mean, look at his life. I mean, there's nobody at his house. It's just him. And he really does just go to work.
Yeah, he's all business
and
now.
And I'm going, why?
All his humanity's gone.
What does he spend his money on? Why is he making all this money? To what end? He doesn't seem to have anybody to share it with.
And we'll find out more about that country he comes from and where.
That's what I'm wondering about.
That'll help us.
He was apparently big and
that's what I'm because there's got to be a reason for him to do this.
I mean, I've heard he has said the kids don't like fish when he had dinner with Walt, but you've never seen his kids like. At home you
didn't see anybody there, so maybe they're somewhere else. I
mean,
don't know,
there may be a beard
we just
anyway,
haven't
but
seen it yet. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, when I saw him stand before that pool where his poor boyfriend was pushed in the water and the blood was everywhere, and seeing him, I felt like, man, he must be so upset.
This is 20 years now. He hasn't let that go.
Has not let it go. And there they are back to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, exactly.
Same place, you know. Where it took place before, and
so let's get you. So we're at the scene of the crime, and Don Leandro, is that his name? Don Leandro, Don Eladio. So he comes down with all his, bosses and etc., and they have their little meeting, and then we see the box on the table with the ribbon around it. Kevin, what did you think before you opened it?
Oh, I was a nervous wreck because I was like, it's got to be something,
Yeah. And then, we were, and I go, it's got to be a real gift because they wouldn't have been able to get in here. Of course it was the bottle of tequila or whatever it was.
Again, we haven't even thought of this. I was thinking of the irony about the poison. Was that Jesse and Walt's poison?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But what I thought was interesting is if you go back to the meeting 20 years ago, remember he'll get him a drink if Don Eladio will get him a drink if he wants him to drink.
Yeah, great call, John.
Yeah,
that's right.
See? And so he brings that because he knows the drinks that's part of this ceremony here. It wasn't just because you always bring a drink. He wanted to do it because that's what he remembers from that other meeting.
And notice that Don wouldn't let him have a drink last time, and now he gave him one. And of course,
wasn't it great when Don Eladio was sitting down there? I was standing by the poolside, and he opens his arms.
Yep.
And he says, "Ben," he says, "Come here." And, the look on his face was great because he knew he was going to have to do that because what you have to do, you kind of have to supplicate yourself in front of the Lord, so to speak. So he knew he was going to have to take that step, and he knew, I'm going to kill this guy. So what harm would there be for me to just take the step? But he had to look reluctant because he didn't want to tip his hand at all to Don Eladio that something was going to happen. So he had to look
right. So he played it very well, just kind of stewing.
Exactly.
It was
very
great.
reluctant.
you know, sitting and pouting on the chair as they're partying. How great was it when the henchmen all took a shot in unison? Yeah. Did you notice that all these big giant heads go back? Yeah. Also, I thought it says a lot. Whoever Gus is, he's known as someone super formidable, because why would this guy walk out with 20 goons?
Guys, yeah.
If he wasn't like,
I think he wanted to show power. In fact, that's what he says. Don Eladio says, every 20 years I gotta spank you because you forget your place. And I think that was his way of showing. Not just
I'm the boss.
Yeah, and not only am I the boss, look at everybody in my corner.
Actually,
you got
the
your two
bitch.
little guys here, and I got all these guys. That was, oh my God, that was great. And then the party happens, you know, the drinking. Oh, and of course, Don Eladio waits for Gus to drink first, which is terrific. Which was, you know, I'm going, oh, how is he going to do this? And I'm going, he must have had the antidote already.
He took those pills.
Yeah, those pills.
You know, in front of the pool, and then of course he vomits.
Exactly.
And I don't know, I was cheering you guys.
Oh, yeah, the party's happening, all the girls around, and Gus is just sitting there, so stoked. And he's sitting there on the chaise lounge, and he's really, it looks to me like he's just staring at the pool where it all went down 20 years ago.
And John, so astute of you to pick up, I wasn't thinking that he had to play the scene that he was brooding. Because the obvious thing would be to be a phony and go along with it, like, you know, and then most of the mafia movies we see, it's always they're all friendly, and then out comes the gun.
Exactly.
I love the idea that he sat there and stewed and looked like he lost.
Yeah.
And that big pig could gloat.
And then they just forgot about anything. Because if they had tipped his hand at all, they could have known something was up. They could have stopped the thing. Because obviously it took enough time for them to bring everybody out. So I don't know how long that poison took to act, but it took a long time, at least in terms of poisons.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, it definitely wasn't Walter and Jesse's poison, because theirs was
theirs
like
you take 38 hours, 48 hours, something like that. Yeah, so it wasn't theirs.
Looks like a heart
attack.
Yeah,
and how great was it to do a repeat when he has to go to the bathroom, and he asks for permission from Don Eladio, and of course so they send somebody to join him, and then you see him in the bathroom and how fastidious he is and how precise he is.
Oh,
with
he's
his glasses,
amazing.
Lays the towel down, takes the shirt off. I mean, just like he did.
He's a total gentleman.
Right before the box cutter incident. I mean, just amazing.
Right.
Great callback to that. I just love the way they did that. And again, you know something's happening. You know it's going down, and you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, John says we watched in the studio. He's like, as soon as he took the jacket off, he's like, "Oh no, this is exactly what he did at the box cutter." You know,
it was amazing. I loved it. And then everybody starts just falling.
As his after he takes the jacket off, everyone starts dying.
Exactly.
One by one.
Great. Yeah, and quickly, man.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom, boom. And I love
like
I'm so glad Vince Gilligan gave us the moment of allowing the Don to live long enough to look his oppressor in the eye,
see it happen,
to see his,
and not only for us to
his
see
opponent,
it, but get the Gus to see it, so he can. 20 years he's been waiting for that.
He could have the vindication. That's right.
And here we are.
It was me.
Horrible, and we're rooting for him.
Totally rooting for him.
Absolutely. No questions. Of course, kick that man, kill that. And wasn't it great that they got Mike in on it? That the sharpshooter from last week who was shooting bullets.
Oh yeah, no, he had it coming.
Mike, absolutely.
He so had it coming.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And Mike goes out there.
Mike
boom.
goes right for the strangle, but didn't finish the job. Right,
because he came back and
that's what I'm saying.
They got in a firefight.
He came out with the gun, John.
Was it that guy? Because I wasn't sure. I didn't get a clear enough shot.
It was him.
Okay.
It was and Mike was struggling with him for a long time.
Yeah.
He was still, and before we get to that, Mike, what was the chain he tore off the Don's neck?
Oh, that's the thing that wasn't that the thing that was there a chain at the 20-year ago thing?
I don't remember
the meeting at 20. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll find out about it. I was trying to remember a reference to some sort of wasn't something taken from him in the 20-year the meeting they had 20 years ago.
Know.
I can't remember. It's either that or that's going to have some significance to prove. Yeah, I killed Don Eladio.
Oh, okay.
Here's his necklace.
That was probably
that's it.
It's going to be
what
something
I
like that.
I thought it was
that's my guess.
He's dead. Osama's dead.
Yeah, exactly. And I got
we killed Bin Laden.
Yeah, because there's no way he would have got that if he
grabbing
was
his dog
and,
tags.
And how about Gus just telling everyone else, take your money and go in peace?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fill your pockets.
Or die.
Leave in peace.
Or die, exactly. And the way and again, that was just like him walking out to the bullets. Go ahead, take it or die.
And stood there. I think God he lost that partner, and it's just he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah. And that's the worst
how
place
he
you can be.
operates.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. The worst place. That's the last place you want to put somebody is have nothing to lose. Because They're crazy.
Been there a couple times.
They don't stop.
Been there a couple times.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple times I'd rather not say.
I've actually put myself there purposely.
Yeah.
So,
So you just know.
Because it's like,
nothing to
okay,
lose.
this is how it's gonna go. So that was great. And the other thing that I like there at the end, Gus, of course, still wounded, so they have to help him in. And now Jesse, I mean, just the metaphor of that. Now the three of them, Jesse's got to help them all
they're
in.
like totally a team now.
And Jesse killing the guy and saving
How
Mike.
about that? Not only did he kill him, not a hesitation. And remember how he shook with Gale?
Yeah, no.
Look, that again. Now, granted, there are bullets flying at him, so it's a slightly different matter.
Different, but you can tell he's
exactly
he's
already.
freaking out
Boom,
the whole time.
Total gangster.
Already in less than in 10 episodes, the guy goes from somebody who's shaking in his boots, shaking as a trigger finger, and then boom, just taking the guy out. Not a hesitation. Bam, bam, bam.
And you even saw a look from Mike once
saw.
again. What'd you say, Ben?
I saw him look. He looked like terrified. Like he looked like he was still shaking and scared.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
At the end
he
of it?
was. During the fight, he looked like he was legitimately scared as it was happening.
Oh, his face was. What I meant was he
was.
didn't shake. I mean, his hands didn't seem to shake. That I didn't see that part. Maybe you did. I just missed that.
Yeah, I thought he was shaking.
Oh,
like he
okay.
was
I mean, it
when
took quite a few
Gale.
bullets for him to hit his mark.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter. Job's done.
Exactly.
And he was better than he was with Gale, and he's only going to be better for the next time. Did you see Mike even gave a look of like,
yeah,
I owe you,
glad
kid.
I got this kid.
Yeah.
Here.
He
He'd have
really
been
looked
dead.
at him. He's like, who would have thought?
Get
like,
us out of here, kid.
Yeah, get us out of here, kid.
Yeah, that's right.
And so off they go. And I said to you guys, I said, boy, now you guys.
Predictions. Wait a minute.
Okay, sorry. Let's take us to commercial. We'll talk about Aaron Paul. We'll talk about our meeting with Aaron Paul,
and then we'll come back.
Sure.
So, we'll do a commercial first, then we'll come back with Aaron Paul and predictions. All right. So Jesse, take us to commercial, would you please?
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig will come out. That wig.
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on. AfterBuzz TV News.
Oh, all right. We got some news. All right, Jesse. What news we got? Are we doing the Aaron Paul, or are there other news?
That is our news.
All right. Okay. So we were at the Emmys Gift Suite Lounge, and this past Thursday and Friday. And
broadcasting live.
Broadcasting live. Thank you. At the Carrie Feinstein.
Feinstein McGinnis Gift Suite.
Right. And we had a slew of shows. One of the ones we did was Breaking Bad, of course. It was a recap show of talking about the season, talking about the fact that they didn't start their season before they could be eligible for Emmys and what impact that would have on the Emmys, etc. And who would come by but Aaron Paul himself.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
That's right, an exclusive with Aaron Paul. He sat down with us, chatted for 5-10 minutes. I can't remember how long.
Oh, he's there for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Really, first of all, great guy. Gracious of him to come by and say hi and sit and talk with us. And just wonderful to hear his take on things and his process. And if you get a chance, please download it. I think you can get that. I'm sure you can get it on YouTube.
Jess, I think we're going to have it on YouTube if you go type in Aaron Paul AfterBuzz. But we also,
they're on
if you
Ustream.tv/AfterBuzz TV, just type in Breaking Bad, Emmys.
Then you can watch the whole episode. But I think we're
we're trying to get it up on YouTube.
He's going to put up just the clip of it, right?
There are highlights of it. Yes.
Great. That's fabulous. So you can download the whole thing off iTunes and the whole.
You can
thing.
have it on iTunes as well.
He was great. So it was great to talk to him. Were you there? You were there for part of that, right? I can't remember.
I was. I was engineering a little bit. And
exactly.
I was running around wrangling and doing all that stuff.
Exactly. So did you get to hear it? Because first of all, I just thought it was great to talk to him, especially about the process and the fact that they are just as excited about us to read the scripts and to know what's going to happen because they don't know ahead. They kind of get the arcs of the season arc, but they don't know too many scripts in advance. They don't want to know. And then because they get so excited to read them. And he was saying, this is what he said to us on Thursday. He said, because we were talking how great the last week's episode was. He goes, oh, that's nothing. These next 4 are gonna be amazing.
They're gonna blow your mind.
This one was definitely better than last one.
Yeah,
It was.
He bumped into Maria at a party, and same thing. And you can hear the interview, so we don't have to recap too much because you can see it. But when the microphone went off, he said, I want you to know Vince Gilligan really appreciates what you guys are doing. He loves this. He loves the fact you're doing an after show for the show, and we love it. We think it's fantastic. We want, we love the fact that fans want more content and that you're providing it, which I thought was cool. And
tell them what we're trying to put together right now. We're
trying to put together a live, doing the series finale live from John Lovett's Comedy Club. He has a multimedia studio there, and they do Kevin Smith, they do Adam Carolla, and I was thinking it'd be great if we had Maria, you, John, and some of the other AfterBuzzers asking, Aaron Paul, maybe Vince Gilligan, and some of the other actors. I know, John, you have leads. You know some of the other actors.
Yeah, we hope to get some of the other actors.
And we put together a panel in front of a live audience. We all watch the series finale together, and we do an AfterBuzz from there. And then we ask them questions. Maybe the audience asks them questions. So I know Aaron was interested, and it's now us having a talk to about logistics, making it happen. So we've got 3 or 4 weeks to pull it together, but we're hoping.
Yeah,
we're excited.
That would be fabulous.
It would be amazing.
Can't wait to find out their whole scheme. And oh boy, here we go. Sorry, we're watching the show again, and we're at the poolside where it's all gonna go down.
I don't know. I really like that what you said about how they are they don't want to know spoilers and stuff about the story. It shows how great the story is that the actors are huge fans of it too.
Yeah, I know.
What's gonna happen next? They're doing it on screen for us, but they're still what's going to happen?
As well.
Yeah, they're fans of their own show.
Yeah, I would imagine that even if they weren't in the show, they'd be watching it like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
who wouldn't?
Yeah. All right. So let's get to predictions.
Well,
you had a prediction. You were talking about when the 3 guys.
And now your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So Kevin, you were talking as the guys were leaving. Obviously, Mike's been shot, and Gus is injured in some fashion, and you were opposing.
And I told these guys on the commercial break. I've said it from the beginning. I had felt Walt was going to turn this around.
Right.
I felt Walt is just continuing to get beat down.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to, as we'd say in wrestling, I think he's going to score a big comeback.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And when I saw Mike is shot now, and perhaps seriously, this other guy's poisoned. Are they weak?
Are they so weak that somebody has to step in?
Yes, maybe this is where Walt will get.
And will Jesse want to step in before Walt? I mean, interesting. If that vacuum is created, who? I
feel like Jesse's such a loyal kid that he would step in, but only to kind of
keep things going until Gus got better.
I think so. But then again, he's also so loyal to Walt. So I don't know. I'm wondering.
But is he still loyal to him after the last?
That's what I'm wondering.
Episode?
How is that
get the
fight?
Yeah, exactly.
I go back to 2 things. 1, Walt saying thank you, Jesse, and 2, him saying can you walk? Jesse saying to his last line of Walt, can you walk? So
there still is this begrudging respect. So there still is.
He's following him.
But of
father
course,
son thing.
The line after "Can you walk?" kind of ruined that a little.
Well, then get out. Well, he just said then get out of here though. But I just think, and I think he knows deep down what the formula means to him.
Yeah.
And I think he knows it's Walt, and I think he knows he how important that is, and how he basically took it and gave it away. And I think it's gonna be, I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
I think deep down they're still father and son. So at the end of the day, I think it's but it's interesting. By the way, the actor who played Don
Eladio.
Stephen Bauer.
Yeah.
What from? Was he Scar? He was a
Scarface. Yeah, he was Scarface second guy, or his first.
Wow,
guy.
And we haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah,
what a great role
we
to
saw
score.
him in Traffic. He played another drug kingpin.
Right.
In Traffic. So he played Catherine Zeta-Jones' husband.
And he was just down in at the Grove doing extra because he was promoting the Scarface anniversary.
Oh,
release.
that's right, exactly. That came out.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, he did a great job. But anyway,
yeah, he did
that's my prediction is I think Walt. We've seen the lowest of Walt, and I think he's going to start scoring his comeback. But I say that. I'm 50-50 because he has been, noticed in the scenes from next week. He's on the ground, so maybe he is going to go down one more notch.
You think Mike stays alive? Because
they
kill people off in this show.
Pretty big. That looked like
I hope they don't because I
I
love his character and I love the actor.
Getting shot in the
really don't want him to go.
I think incapacitated.
I think at least
killed.
For a while. I mean,
Yes.
kind of like they did with Hank.
Like Hank.
Let him, get to this side for a little bit.
If he's not dead, he's not going to be here for a while.
How interesting would it be if those two are sidelined for a little bit, which leaves room for Jesse and Walt to come up, and then these two want to come back at their full power? That would be very interesting.
Very interesting.
And so, lastly, real quick, Skyler. Where does she go in this? How does she get this?
She's gonna wrangle that guy. That guy. It might take her 3 episodes to do it because that'll be her kind of conclusion. But he's going.
Got to keep the cops.
She's
away.
gonna turn him upside down and shake him.
Exactly. That I want to see. I want to see her really step up and do the gangster thing. I wanted it this time. I hope they'll do that with her. So that'll be good. Anything else before we leave?
No.
By the way, do you think? Wait, last thing.
Okay, yeah.
I also love the fact that he brought girls. Now the girls. Where they know I think they know Gus is gay, so it's even more of an insult.
Yeah.
I think just seeing him sitting there so somber.
Interesting though that Jesse really didn't partake.
He didn't.
He did it just enough to get her away, and then he put the cigar out.
Yeah. And that was it. It's a great show, man.
All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. For another Breaking Bad AfterBuzz. This was episode 10 entitled Salud. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
From producers Keven Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.